question.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, the internet wasn't even a thing. I think it came out like the year I graduated, and we thought it was like magic or something.
Yeah.
And so how do you gauge your child's behavior against their exposure, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, because if somebody took a risky behavior when we were kids, they thought of that idea all on their own. But now kids spend so much time just like getting, observing people on YouTube and Facebook doing all these crazy things. And it's like, how much influence are they seeing in decision making based on like normalizing risk taking?
Great question. And the simple answer, there's a lot to that. The simple, where we'll start today, is that we are exposed to so much more, which makes me more compassionate for the teen who's living in the culture today. But the truth is God still made us as human beings who long for human connection, and our greatest influences are those that are right in my present place. So I'm going to go more to the internet and find things out there if nobody in my real world is connecting with me. Is that fair? I see it all the time. Now, this is not to blame the parents. It's always the mom's fault. That's not the point. But the point is that we are able to help and to not be as scared of all the things around. We have to be aware. And I think it's harder to be a teen now than ever before. Never before. We not only have the influences around, the exposure to things we never would have seen as teenagers ourselves, but we also have the brain chemistry shifts. I'm gonna say this, okay, and then we're gonna pause and turn and talk. There are researchers that are studying boys over a long period of time, and they're calling it the great demise of men. I'm really sorry, men. I can say that. But the truth is that the greater exposure of the internet, gaming, pornography, is making men, boys, and men unable to really regulate any of their own feelings and emotions. We have higher levels of anxiety, depression, all kinds of mental illnesses, and disconnection in our relationships because of our cultural changes. Again, it's not, and they're seeing this, so they've been studying it in the colleges, seeing kids coming out of the teen years, moving through college, and over a period of time, we're seeing this decline happening. So we just really have to think that I think we as parents rely heavily on technology even more. It's been easier to parent for us in a way. Oh, they're tied up, they're gaming, or I don't have to engage as much, and it's easy to have it be, why don't you go look that up? We're not going to have a conversation about it, but why don't you go look it up? So just being able to think a little bit more systemically about what our kids are exposed to, but the truth is we are the greatest influence, the adults in their life. And it really only takes one adult who's willing to engage and to say, I'm here to see you, I want to know you, and I want to help you with whatever you're going through. Okay, so again, I'm going to have you turn and talk. You're going to get about 5 minutes, and we're going to come back and say, okay, how can we help? 5 minutes to turn. Say anything that was said in the second half that's standing out to you, that you feel like you want to camp on a little bit. It might be your own teen, if you're willing to be vulnerable there, or just in general as you're thinking through how to walk alongside teenagers. Go ahead and turn. Really, we're going to take 2 more chunks of time. So the first one, I'm going to give you some practice on communication, and then we're going to hit on some practical tools at the end, and then we're going to do a question and answer time. Okay, so maybe that's 3. Sorry, those of you are a little more linear. In terms of the teenage brain, remember that. Well, maybe not remember. Maybe it's the first time you're hearing it. A child's brain is primarily sensory oriented. They've got the back of their brain, it's amygdala, which is everything is that primary need. Food, it's the fight or flight, am I in danger, am I not? The sex drive is back there. All of those things, when I'm driving along, that's the part of the brain that I access when I see a red light, somebody slamming on their brakes. I'm going to automatically react and slam on my brakes, because if I stop and I rationalize, should I stop or should I not? How far am I from there? I'm going to slam in, right, and hit them in rear end. It'd be my fault. So this part of the brain serves a great purpose, and that is there from the time we're born. What's happening in that remodeling of the brain is that they're developing more of that prefrontal cortex, which is the logical part of the brain, and that's where we do rhyme and reason. And the goal is that there's this integration that happens. Not that all of a sudden now we become logical beings, it's that we become both and. That we can do our emotional part of life, and we can also do the reasoning part of life. But it takes a while to get there, and they're practicing and they're integrating both and trying to do both. It's slower, and we have to have grace for that. And we have to know, and honestly, a lot of us adults have leaped from that emotional part of the brain, and we were right to logical. So that emotional part of the brain in the teen makes no sense to us. The truth is that you probably need to do some work yourself to get in touch with that part of your brain so that you can connect, okay? So in the long run, that's what we're talking about, and how to connect with both parts of the brain. We're looking at integration, not segregation, compartmentalizing, either this is better than this. It's a both and, okay? So the idea of how we can help is we want to have love and limits. Some of you have heard this since you've had little ones. But the idea that we're trying to keep them on the road, and you want to have love on one side, which is the relationship part. And the limits are we still need to have boundaries for our teens. The V has gotten bigger. When they were 2, the choices were, do you want, an orange or an apple? That's as much of a choice you got. Okay, you choose. In my house, it's do you want water or water? Which do you choose? So, in terms of as they get older, those choices get greater. When we think about college choices, when we think about friendship choices, when we think about sports choices, when we think about things that they like, the music choices. Okay, we're trying to give them a broader sense into practice, and we set limits though. It's not a free-for-all. You can go on any site you want, explore the world. It's all for you. We say no. Here's the sites that you go on. We've got filters in our home, and you can use your computer out in the living room when we're all around. And at 8 o'clock, we all turn in our devices, and we actually have family time. Ooh, what's that? Okay, that would be the limit, and the love side is let's talk about that because you don't like that. Why? Because all my friends are talking at 10 p.m. Yeah. So let's talk about that, okay? So it's both and. It's the love limits. And it is okay to tell your kids no, but it's not okay to tell them no at this age without connecting to the why, and let's process it together because they're going to rebel, okay? Because rules without relationships breed rebellion. You don't care about me, you're telling me what to do, I'm going to go the opposite direction of anything you tell me. To be honest, I still am like that. You don't care about me? I don't see that you've got any connection and you're telling me what to do? I'm not going to connect with you. I'm not going to do what you're telling me to do. So that is a human part of us, and so it's not just that teen, but it's heightened at that time. Because their peers they feel really close to, and you, I'm not sure. Everybody's feeling awkward about this age. The other side is relationship without rules breeds entitlement. Okay, so here's a picture of a person parked at Sherry's. They get 2 parking spots apparently, instead of 1. But when we don't have limits for our kids, they get this sense of that the world is theirs and they can do whatever they want, and it's ugly. Doesn't feel really good. There's a great book out right now by Dr. Townsend. He wrote the Boundaries book. It's called the Entitlement Cure. It's really a good book on helping your teenagers and your young adults, really take an ownership for the reality that their decisions do impact the world around them. So kind of thinking about the love and the limits, relationship, but if it's all relationship, we breed entitlement. And if it's just rules, you will do what I say because I said so, you're going to breed rebellion.